Justin Jones Fosu, your host of the 7 mini episode Everyday Diversity series, moving from initiative to everyday life. And I'm super excited to share with you episode 5. This title has been one of my most interesting titles, and it's what I learned from the kid on the plane who wouldn't shut up about courageous curiosity and authentic listening. And so I gotta have to start off by sharing this story with you. So I remember several years ago, I was getting ready to go on this nice long speaking tour. It may have been like 9 days, 9 different cities kind of thing. And I was preparing the night before, and I only got like 2 hours of sleep. I may have been watching Frozen. Don't judge me, right? And I remember that I was just excited to be able to get on and sit on the plane and go to sleep. Right, so I got on the plane, sat down, I was sitting on the aisle seat, and I normally sit on the window because I didn't put my head, but for whatever reason I'm in the aisle seat, and I see this little kid who's like 8 or 9 years old who's sitting on the window seat, and then a lady who's sitting in the middle seat. And my first reaction was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll see. I think he's one of the kids that had like little uh, name things on to let them know that he's flying by himself. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep, right? So it wasn't 10 seconds later that I tried to fall asleep because I'm one of those people that I can actually fall asleep before the plane takes off, right? And more than 10 seconds later, that this little kid just starts yapping. And y'all, I am getting upset. I'm getting mad because I'm trying to sleep and I forgot my noise canceling headphones. And so, as this kid was talking to the lady who was next to us, he started asking some questions. And I did what every single one of us would have done at that moment. I listened. And this little kid was asking the lady who was next to us, who I believe was from Laos, and he started asking her questions like about Laos and what was she doing here? Not a derogatory sense, but like, hey, like, what's your plan? Like, what are some things you learned? And he was asking her questions of things he should know about Laos and all of these things. And I mean, like, oh my gosh, this kid was doing some amazing things, right? And he would follow up with deeper questions. When she would say something, so you can really tell he was genuinely and authentically listening. And I found that this little kid unlocked something for me, that he did two powerful things. He engaged in what I call courageous curiosity and authentic listening. And the reason I call it courageous curiosity is because he was courageously learning about her, asking questions. He had a beginner's mind. Remember, because you know how we were when we were 8 or 9 years old. Hopefully we remember. Do you remember that? We asked questions like we knew nothing. And our number one question for kids everywhere was what? Why? 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 But as we've gotten older, we ask questions as if we know everything, and we still know very little. And it's our opportunity to have that courageous curiosity, not just be curious, because some people are curious and they'll be afar. But courageous curiosity gives an opportunity to say, hey, I'm, as a male, I don't necessarily know what it feels like as a woman in the workplace. Like, can you share more information? Can you share different things? Like, that's an example of courageous curiosity on a bigger level, but it could just be something about courageously learning about someone else and something different, you know? And I take that posture, and I talked about in episode 1 of the 6-month challenge, that I take that courageous curiosity to learn specifically about areas that I'm either disagree with or I don't know a lot about, and I engage. But how do we do this? How can you ask deeper questions of people as you learn, right? And one of those things that I often hear is just a follow-up question. You'll hear this in another session, another episode, is the powerful 3 words of tell me more. So as I'm courageously curious, I say, tell me more. You know what that allows me to do? To engage in authentic listening. You know why I call it authentic listening? Is because active listening, if you ever heard of it, I realized you can fake it. I used to teach it, right? Let me tell you. So active listening is all simply this. You repeat what the person just said to you. You mimic their behaviors. Oh, this will get them every time. All you got to do, lean in. That will really show them that you're on their side. Yeah. right? You can do all that stuff and still not be listening. Ask my kids, right? Not that I do it to them, but they do it to them, right? But the interesting thing is when you're authentically listening, you're listening deeply, you're engaging, you're hearing what that person's saying, and then you're being able to ask a follow-up question. It's almost like when we were in school and you had that teacher or professor that asked you to do the reading, and you knew the people who did the reading, didn't you? Because the person who didn't do the reading, like I think on page 1 it said about the storyline, but the person who did the reading, they said, okay, when I looked at page 68, I noticed the 3 points were juxtaposed to page 79, and the thematic differences, and you were like, mm-hmm. That person did the reading. You sat next to them and were trying to be in their group, right? But the interesting thing is that the same thing happens is that people know when we're listening based on the type of questions that we follow up with. So, one of the things that I learned from the Kid on the Plane is how to be courageously curious, but also how to authentically listen, to be present. It means putting up my phone, it means closing the laptop. It might mean whatever that means for you. But when we authentically listen to people, it gives us an opportunity to hear them deeply. Now, there's another flight. That was just the first segment of my flight. There's another flight, and there's another kid on the plane who wouldn't shut up. Guess who that was? Me. I was talking to a guy about one of the events that was happening at that time, really big event, and we disagreed on the event and perspective of it. But we started asking deeper questions. We're courageously curious to find out about his history and how his history is informed how we saw the event, and how my history is informed how I saw the event. And we started authentically listening to each other. Now, we didn't walk off the plane holding hands singing kumbaya, kumbaya. We didn't do that. But what we did is we set up another breakfast meeting, and we actually continued to have dialogue, to share. What can you do? And how can you learn to be the kid on the plane who wouldn't shut up? Go back to your 8 or 9 or 10-year-old self when you asked why, and have the beginner's mind again. One thing that I ask you to do is to take action. To do. Be a little kid. With all that being said, one action I'd love for you to take is to stay connected with me. I'm Justin at workmeaningful.com. And/or you can connect with me at social media at iWorkMeaningful at all these wonderful places, including Vimeo. Not listed there. But thank you so much for tuning in. And I'd love for you to watch episode number 6. It's the power of 3. And it's a focus on deep listening, especially to those who are different. So I'd love for you to stay connected there and tune in. You can watch the rest of the episodes at the YouTube link. And/or at workmeaningful.com. Thank you so much for tuning in for the 7-minute episode Everyday Diversity series. Until next time, I'm Justin Junsosu. Bye-bye.